Welcome to the Book of Song of Songs, 8 chapters of ancient Hebrew love poetry. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, man, what is this guy going to do with this one? Well, at the very least, I can delay reading the text itself for a few minutes by talking about background data. The title of this book, Song of Songs, utilizes the same logic as phrases you've heard from the Bible, like King of Kings or Lord of Lords, Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies is the most holy place, more holy than all other holy places. And the King of Kings, well, he is above all other kings. And therefore, this song, it is the best love song of all love songs that have ever been written. Now, you may have your doubts about that at the moment, and you may also be questioning the title we're using for this book, Song of Songs. I thought it was called Song of Solomon. Well, you can thank Wycliffe for that misconception. His 14th century translation of the Bible was the first to use the title Song of Solomon, and before that it was always called Song of Songs. So we're going to go with the original. Now, that being said, the book's relationship to Solomon is a bit confusing. Let's take a look at the opening line of this book. So here we are, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Which is Solomon's? What does that mean? Well, if we look here at the text in Hebrew, we see it says the Song of Songs, that or which, le Shlomo. The preposition le, a lamed, which simply means of Solomon. Now, what does that mean? Well, it could mean a whole lot of different things, couldn't it? Of Solomon. It could mean the song belonging to Solomon, that is, it was dedicated to him. Maybe it means about Solomon. Solomon's the main character of this little drama. It could mean that the song was written by Solomon. He's the author. Or more generally, it might just refer to a song which is connected to or related to or in association with Solomon. Now, honestly, it could mean any or all of these different things, and we're not going to land the plane on this book's relationship to Solomon here. We're going to save that for our next lecture. But whoever it was who wrote this song, he was a pretty good poet. He had a, I don't know, shall we say, compelling use of imagery throughout this little poem, and like all Hebrew poetry, he uses a beautiful, intricate design to hold this song together. Now, the Song of Songs is composed of speeches of the beloved, the female character, and her lover, the male character in this song. And 70% of the entire book is in the mouth or in the voice of the beloved. And this book is arranged in 4 different cycles. First cycle, second cycle, third, and fourth. And honestly, the book is pretty difficult to outline. You'll look at the commentaries, you'll see all kinds of different outlines and structures, but I think the clincher for a 4-part division of the book is this repeating refrain. Here in the end of cycle 1, I adjure you, daughters of Jerusalem, do not awaken love until it pleases. And you'll see each one of these cycles concludes with the same refrain. Let me show you in the text real quickly. So here we are in cycle 1, and let's scroll down to the end of cycle 1 in 2 verse 7, and there you go. There's our refrain. Now let's jump to the end of cycle 2 in 3:5, and there's the refrain again. End of cycle 3, it's 5:8, and this is kind of a modified refrain. It's a little bit different, and then cycle 4 there in 8:4 has that refrain once more. So that's why we're going to go with a 4-part division of the book. And within each of these cycles, there's going to be repeated refrains. These are not refrains, repeated motifs of praise, plan, and meet. Those are the terms we're going to use. So praise, the lovers are going to praise one another. Your thighs are like cedars. Your hair is like golden locks. And then they're going to plan. They're going to plan to come together. It's an invitation. Come away with me, my love. Let us frolic among the lilies in the garden. I could have used the word invitation, but that word can't fit on this line. So I'm going with the word plan. And then finally, the final motif is their meeting, their joining together. And often it's assumed in these cycles that the lovers will consummate their relationship. Well, let's jump in and take a closer look at each of these cycles. And as you can see, there is just an intricate design in each of these cycles. It is pretty neat. This first one has 7 speeches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which alternate between the beloved, she, and her lover, he. And as you can see, kind of by the colors I've used, there is kind of a loose chiasm holding these 7 speeches together. And you remember what a chiasm is. The outer frames match, and there's inner frames which correspond as well. Let's take a look at those matching frames in the text. We'll try to make that case. So let's put these 2 sections side by side. So here we are. Let's go to the beginning. So here on the left is going to be the outer frame at the beginning, and then here on the right is the outer frame at the end. Now you'll notice in each of these speeches, the beginning one and the end one, she's going to use the phrase, my lover brought me, or in this case, the king brought me into his chambers. And then if you look at the last section here, same language. He brought me into his banqueting house. Now we'll come in one frame here and look at the man's opening speech. So here we are, and scroll up. And in both of these speeches by the lover, he is going to say that his beloved is better than any other woman out there. He says that you are like a mare among the chariots. There's all these chariots, but you're a mare among them. I guess that's a really big compliment. And then here in the corresponding frame, she's going to say, oh, I'm just a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. And there are tons of lilies in the valley, and there are tons of roses in Sharon. She's saying, I'm nothing special. But he says, no, you're not a lily in the valley. You're a lily among brambles. You kind of see how that works and how that matches. Let's go into the next frame in, and I think we can just use a single panel to display this. Scroll down. She's going to mention this couch. The king was on his couch, and my nard gave forth its fragrance. And then we go to the other frame. What does it say? More mention of their couch. I guess it's their bed. Our couch is green. The beams of our house are cedar. Our rafters are pine. And then the very center, we have this short little speech by the man, in which he has this double. Behold, you are beautiful. Behold, you are beautiful. And then the woman is going to reciprocate, behold, you are beautiful, for a threefold you are beautiful statement at the very center of this opening cycle. I mean, come on, if that's not intentional design, I don't know what is. Now, we have worked through this first cycle with a lot of depth, and we're going to walk through the other cycles more quickly, but I wanted to slow down here in this opening cycle just so that you can appreciate the craftsmanship a little bit more. So in this second cycle, it's going to focus more on the planning motif, this invitation for the lovers to pursue one another. And the outer frame of this chiasm, the woman is first going to say, look, my beloved, or excuse me, my lover, he comes like a gazelle, like a young stag, leaping over the mountains. And then at the end, she's going to call to her lover, and she's going to say, be like a stag, be like a young gazelle on the mountain. So those match. And then in the center, there's going to be a double invitation by the man. He's going to say twice, first in chapter 2, verse 10, arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. And then again in verse 13, same thing, arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. So that clearly matches pretty well. And let's skip a couple of things here and go to our third cycle, cycle 3. Now, cycle 3 will have our first wasif. Let me say that again, our first wasif, W-A-S-F. That's how it's spelled. And a wasif is a poem, a love poem, praising the various body parts of one's lover. Your eyes are like emeralds. Your hair is like a flowing stream. Your neck like a radiant tower. That's what a wasif is. It describes the different body parts. Kind of strange. I don't think that I would write a wasif for my wife. Well, anyways, these two wasifs here in cycle 3 will separate or bracket two invitations to come into my garden, or let me come into the garden. And each of these wasifs are going to they're going to praise 8 different parts, body parts of their lover. Let me show you. Let's count to 8 a couple of times. So we need to jump to chapter 4, don't we? Chapter 4. So here's the first wasif. See it in orange? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's this plan to come together. Come with me, come to the garden. And then we're going to have another wasif praising 8 different things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you'll notice this transition, this shift in which the lover is going to say, oh, my sister, my bride, your garden, it is locked, it is locked, it is sealed. Blow upon your garden. Let the doors open. And let the wind blow. And then she's going to say, what's she going to say? Let my beloved come to his garden and eat its choicest fruits, she says. And he's going to say, hey, I came to the garden, my sister, my bride. And then the others, that third voice is going to say, eat, friends, drink, and be drunk with love. So, of course, that is the meeting element, which concludes this cycle. Let's jump now to our final cycle here in 5-9 to 8-4. And you'll see here that there are 3 wasifs. See this? This time she's going to open with her own wasif. And then he's going to have a center wasif. And then there's this other wasif. And those wasifs bracket these short discussions about her garden, the nut orchard as it's described here. And both the inner and the outer frames of this chiasm are going to be in response to a question from the others, from the friends, the third voice in this song. And that's what this cue is for. It's a question. So, for example, the opening one, the others are going to ask the woman, and they're going to say, what is your beloved more than any other beloved? And she's going to be like, I'll tell you, with a 10-part wasif. And she says, his arms are like rods of gold. His body is like polished ivory. It's crazy, this poetry. And then the next question here, the others are going to ask, where has your beloved gone? And she's going to say, my beloved has gone down into his garden. And then so on. There's going to be a couple of more questions to round out this chiasm. But let's jump back and look at these center 2 cycles, which I'm sure you noticed, each of which concludes with a mysterious dream. These mysterious dreams, and each of these dreams run in parallel. They have parallel elements to them. Let's take a look at a chart describing the parallel elements of these dreams. Here we are. First dream is in 3:1 to 5. Second dream is in 5:2 to 8. They open with a line kind of signifying we're talking about a dream here. On my bed at night, I slept, but my heart was awake. And then the next element of their parallel structure has this phrase, I sought him. I sought my lover. Where is he? But found him not. So then the beloved goes out into the city looking for her lover. And that's where she discovers the watchman, or the watchman found me, as they went about the city. Find that in both dreams. And then, of course, it's going to end with that refrain, I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem. Now, these dreams, they will have kind of unique narrative differences a little bit, highlighted here in brown. And they're both kind of confusing. A lot of commentators don't really know what to do with them. And so is this central section of the entire song, Solomon's wedding procession. What do we do with this? It opens with this question, who is this coming up from the wilderness? Ooh, look, we've got the same question going on here at the conclusion. Who is this coming up from the wilderness? Behold, it is the litter, the carriage of Solomon. And it's a super legit carriage. It is just decked out. And then there's this cry, go out, O daughters of Zion, and look upon Solomon on the day of his wedding, on the day of the gladness of his heart. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean here in the center of the whole song that it is all about Solomon? Is that what we're supposed to infer from that? And what does the whole song mean in general? What is ancient Hebrew love poetry doing in the Bible? Well, we are going to attempt to answer some of those questions in our next lecture.